What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and today I've got a double process video for you, a layout and an art journal page. We're starting with the art journal page, and I wanted to tackle something in this episode of Challenge Yourself, which is a new series that I'm doing this year over here on Patreon, where I pick a technique or a product or a style or something that I find a little bit challenging and try and kind of step outside the box and push myself to give it a go. So today we're giving monochromatic a go, and it's very opposite to the January episode, which was rainbow. Monochromatic is essentially where you use one colour to create something. So for the art journal page, I'm just doing black and white, and for the layout, I'm just doing blue. And there is a tiny bit of black and white that appear in it, but black and white are just kind of neutral, but it's mainly blue. So I was going through my magazine images, and I love this picture of, I think it's Cara Delevingne, and which Jenner is it? Kendall. It's Kendall Jenner. And I just thought it was like a really silly, loopy kind of face. I wrinkled this so badly. I didn't lie it down very neatly, and I used a lot of matte gel medium to stick it on. But I'm okay with the wrinkles. It's just part of the texture of the page. We can pretend I intentionally meant to do that. And then I decided to pull out my new best friend, black paint, and I've just really been enjoying using black paint lately. However, I think all of the times that I've used it have been contrasting with some brighter colours, and I haven't just made something that's black and white. Let me know in the comments if you often do things that are black and white. I think that it's a really bold design choice, and it can be a lot of fun to play with, but it can also be a little bit nerve-wracking because it is so striking, and it's just very different than playing with lots of different colours. So I decided to just slap the black paint all over this right hand side. I should have put wax paper, greaseproof paper underneath this page, because I did get a little bit of black paint on some other journal pages, but that's okay. It adds to the edging of the other pages, we can pretend. This page is actually from, I think the page on the right is from quite possibly my mum's or Nan's, someone's old photo album book, and I just really liked the fonts on it, so I decided to keep it for a collage piece one day. This is out of a vintage children's book that's got, not vintage, retro I should say, and it's just the contents page, and I am a sucker for contents pages. I think it's just all of the order of the numbers, and I know that sounds really silly and lame, but I do like a good contents page to collage with. So then, of course, the black paint is dry. I painted it, I think my paintbrush was a little bit wet when I applied the paint, because it has gone a little bit streaky, which you can see there, the colour's not very opaque. If I was just leaving it as black without doing anything over the top of it, I would have definitely done a second coat of black paint, but I knew that I was going to do some stenciling over the top and some writing, so I didn't worry about it. It doesn't really matter to me. If the paint's a little bit streaky at times, it just kind of, like I said before, adds to the texture. I'm really, really, really trying this year to move away from what my idea is of perfection, or like the perfect technique or the perfect result when painting or doing something, and just kind of embracing the flaws and embracing the happy mistakes, such as the wrinkles all over Miss Jenner's face in this page. It's just part of the wild ride that is art journaling. So this is something that I've been really trying to use up lately, and that is washi tape strips. So not rolls of washi tape, but I've got so many of these pages that just have these little strips of washi tape, and usually there's only maybe 6 to 10 strips of washi on these pages, and yet they hang around my stash for years. so long, and they're really irritating me, particularly because a lot of them only have a couple of strips left, and really I'm trying to get rid of them. So if you've got anything like that, or a sticker sheet that's only got 4 or 5 bits and pieces left on it, I highly suggest keeping it on your desktop. Grab a little box, grab a little container, make it small though so it doesn't accumulate too many things, and leave it on your desktop, and just pop a couple, maybe 3 to 5 sticker sheets in there that you're desperately trying to use up. Give yourself a bit of a timeline, like say I want to use these up. It depends how much you create, but I want to use these up by the end of May. Pop them on your desk, and you'll be surprised how, by having them right there on your desktop and away from all of the rest of the clutter of our craft rooms, just by singling them out and saying you are the chosen ones, and it's now your time to be used, it's amazing how much you actually make a dent in your stash. So that's something I'm trying this year, just to have. I've currently got those washi tape strips, and I think I have 2 sheets of puffy stickers that just permanently stay on my desk, and I'm really trying to use them up. So then I felt like I needed some stenciling, and I used the Dylusions white paint, and I also used my Use It Up journal and did some stenciling on that yellow page as well. I just wanted to show you off camera, but I wanted to do some white stenciling. However, the white kind of reacted with the black and went a little bluish, which is okay, but it does bring a bit of a different tone to the page, because all of the white that was on there was kind of a creamy white, and this is a real bluey white. So it did change a little bit, but it's still white. It's still kind of monochromatic, and we're just going to roll with it. So lately I've actually been using white gesso through stencils, and I've been loving the results of that. I just find that it's a little more white. I know I've said white so many times in the last minute, but it's just I don't know, it doesn't, because it's a primer, it doesn't seem to absorb the paint that's behind it as much. It's a little bit thicker, and so if you're finding with your white acrylic paint that you're having that issue, try with gesso. So then I wanted to do a quote here, and did I spell happiness wrong? Oh no, I did. I thought I did one S then. I've sped this up 4 times fast, so I don't write this fast, but I'm just doing a little brush lettering little quote here. I'm going to try and make this into part of the printables, just this little quote. I really like the way that it turned out. I'm using my Uniball Signo Broad gel pen as always. I just finished one actually. It's a one supply that I don't feel bad about having 3 extras in my stash, because I know that they're going to get used and they're not going to become expired before I get to using them, because I go through these babies so often. So then, to tie in the really crisp white of that quote, I just did a bit of a dash line in that little heart. So that little piece of paper with the black heart was the outside of the paper that I cut the hearts on the left-hand side. I felt like under these scrabbly bits of paper, scrabbly, that's a new word, under these ripped pieces of paper on the left-hand side, I felt like I just needed something, because there was a bit of an awkward gap. It was kind of too big to leave, but too narrow to really do anything large on. So I just wrote positive mind, positive vibes, positive life, and then added a few little diddly bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. And then I grabbed my black pen, and you guys know I've been obsessed with these little sprinkly bits, and so this page is no different. And of course I had to add some to here as well, just to do some little bits and pieces. I have exciting news. I finished my Use It Up journal, which has been an epic time. I think I started that before I was pregnant with Archie, I do believe. So it's been going for a couple of years, and I finally just did a big journaling session, which you'll see probably here on Patreon towards the end of the month or maybe early April, and I did about 7 journal spreads in one process video, which you'll see, and I'm really excited to have that finished. I finished my junk journal last month, so 2 journals in 1 month. It's nice to see the end of them and to close them up and move on to the next one. It's such a good feeling finishing a journal. I think it's equivalent to finishing a roll of washi tape. It doesn't happen very often. It is a bit of a rare occurrence in my house anyway, but boy oh boy, it's the small satisfactions that non-creative people will never understand. The feeling of finishing a roll of washi tape or a journal. So this part I don't know if I'm in love with, but once I started, it was kind of the thing that I had to keep going with. And I outlined the girls in black. I don't know why, but it happened. And then I decided to do a dash line and then went in with the white. And I do like it because it kind of ties in with the doodly line of those flowers on the right-hand side, the stenciled flowers. But it does also kind of look like she has hairy armpits and the hair is just flowing down next to her, which is, that's fine too. But yeah, I don't know. I like it, but I don't think I'd do it if I did it again. So here is the art journal page all finished. I will say monochromatic is something that I find very challenging because I just want to add all the colors. Let me know in the comments if you have done a lot of monochromatic, either art journal pages or layouts, and they don't have to be black and white. You can see here I'm just using blues, but let me know how you find it, because it just makes me want to use the colored things more. I think I feel very restricted, but it was a fun, learning experience and something that I might do again in the future, but definitely not something that I could do for every single layout. So these are some photos of Arch we took in late last year, I think it was. And I've been holding on to this blue little boat paper for ages. I love the colour of it. It's more of a bit of a tealy blue. And I've been wanting to use it for ages, but I wanted to wait until I had a watery related photo to put with it. And we're not really beach people. And so I wanted to wait until I actually had some beach photos, and I thought it would be the perfect paper to do with this monochromatic challenge, because it is very, very blue, and it's kind of got the same blue tones as my photo. So I've got 2 different photos, one's black and white and one's in colour, and that's sometimes nice to kind of cheat the monochromatic system a little bit. Because black and white aren't really colours, it's nice to use them as a bit of a difference in the page if you are only choosing one colour to do everything with. Blue is a great colour if you are trying this, because there are so many different shades of blue that you can work with, and it's a colour that's, I find, really readily accessible in scrapbooking products. Like, there's always, if you look at a sticker sheet, most of the time, unless it's a very specific colour palette, if it's a multicoloured one, you'll find something blue in there. I would suggest, if you are going to try this, to kind of go with those colours that you do feel comfortable with as well. I think if I was to do a monochromatic orange layout or green, I think I would struggle big time. So this is my 8x8 journal, the one that we just did that other layout in, and I just grabbed that because I got my stencil out. And the Use It Up journal, at this point, I think most of the stenciling, like the pages, were done, the background, so I couldn't actually use it anymore. And so I decided to just grab that one. That art journal, I think, only has about 5 spreads left in it, so that's my next baby to try and finish. I'm really trying to get that girl done so I can move on to another art journal, because I've got another one in mind, but I've set myself the challenge of finishing that one first. So I've sped this up very, very fast because I'm just doodling around all of the stencils. I felt like they needed something to kind of make them pop, and I went for this stencil. I don't know where it's from, sorry, but it has kind of all of these little swirly, almost like a splash droplet design, and I just went around the outsides. I avoided the center because I knew my photos were going to be there, and I didn't need to do things that were just going to be covered up anyway. I was trying to figure out what order to put the photos in, whether to do the color on top or the black and white on top, and I think it's just kind of personal preference. I decided to do the color one on top, I think. Yes, color one on top, and just to kind of make them a little bit more uniform, I'm just matting them on some white printer cardstock that I had sitting around. And I think it also helps when you are doing monochromatic pages, everything can kind of blend in a little bit together, because you don't have that ability to really make bold contrast choices between the colors you're using. It's nice to use black and white to help you and to help your photos kind of pop a little bit and not get lost amongst all the blue, especially if your photos are like this and they're predominantly the same color that you're scrapping with. So I just added some tissue to add some texture. You know, I do love my tissue. This is not actually proper tissue paper. I think I got it on, it came wrapped in a parcel I received. And it's it's not very soft and silky like normal tissue paper is. It's kind of an abrasive tissue paper. And so I'm going to have to head to the shops and get some more of that. And then I found this. So this was a piece of paper towel that I have had in my stash. I've been hoarding this piece of paper towel since the old house, so probably 2 years, and I've wanted to use it on so many things, but it's kind of like it's too pretty, and I'm sick of doing that. I'm sick of hoarding the things that are just too pretty to use. This is my year of getting those things used so that I can add more pretty things to the pretty stuff in my stash. And do you know what I mean? I feel like if you hoard something for too long that you love, it gets to a point where you're sick of it and you don't love it anymore and you don't want to use it. And so this paper towel was heading towards that kind of stage, so I wanted to use it, and it was just the perfect size to mat my photos with as well. So I have to admit, I don't know the acid proof quality of that paper towel. It's probably 0. So if you are concerned about acid free products, I would suggest not using that, but I'm more about the process, and I'm hoping one day to digitize all my layouts for for Archie, and to put together an album of, not an album, but like a photo book or something of just layouts pertaining to him. I think that would be a really good way to do a childhood album for him without having to double scrap a lot of pages. So it's more about the process and the fun for me. I'm trying to use up thickers as well. You'll see those light blue circle thickers I have, I think, next month's Challenge Yourself. I have already filmed, and it's using leftover thickers, and we are creating 2 layouts using those blue thickers, and I still have some left. Those blue thickers have been hanging around. They're one of my oldest sets that I ever bought, and I've just constantly struggled with them. They were left in the sun for a little bit, so some of the blue is a different blue than the other letters, and that really, really annoys me. And so I just decided it was time that they have another purpose, and I use them in a different way, an unconventional way than what was intended. This would have to be one of my favourite stencils. It's a Tim Holtz one, and it's just all of these teeny tiny little dots. It kind of looks like fly screen. I imagine if you put modelling paste through a fly screen, you get the same kind of look. And I love this stencil, especially with modelling paste, because it just gives an extra teeny tiny detail. I just love really little sprinkly bits, and it's the perfect sprinkly bit little stencil to go in on my layouts and on my art journal pages. I'm pretty sure I used it on the black and white art journal page as well. So something else I'm trying to use are some older sticker sheets, and I had, like I said, I've had a couple of puffy sticker sheets hanging around like this one, and I think the quote on this one was a little funny, like the phrase. I couldn't really make it relate. It was something about the sun going to sleep or the sun coming up, or it was something that I've tried to use a few times and then thought it sounded silly. And so I finally got some use on it on this page, as well as some of the old crepe paper poolside stickers, because like I said, we don't do pool, we don't do beach, we don't do outside very often. So it is difficult with these highly themed collections to use. There's always things that you can use, but there's always things that are very specific, like swim and poolside, and words that are very hard to get around using on like a church wedding layout or a layout about a rabbit. I can't put swim on there because bunnies aren't swimming. Anyway, I've gone on a tangent, but it was nice to be able to use some of the highly themed beachy kind of stickers on this page. Like I said before, blue is a good color to go with because there's so many different shades, and you can see here I have slightly cheated the system in that there's real bluey blue tones, but there's also kind of tealy, acre-y blue tones. But I'm still calling it monochromatic because they all fall under the category of blue. So you can kind of, cheat the system a little bit if you want to give this a go. Even if you're doing a color like pink, you could do some real baby pinks, and then you could even go into a slightly corally pink color. But it's all, it's doing what works for you. And of course, add black and white whenever you would like to. And if you're into like gold, I kind of see gold as a neutral as well. I didn't use any gold on these. I held myself back, but it was difficult. Just know that it was very difficult not to reach for that Heidi Shine bottle. So I was thinking for this Challenge Yourself series, I've had quite a few new patrons this week. So hi, welcome if you are new. I have started a new series for 2019 called Challenge Yourself. We do one of these every month. We either do journal pages, layouts, card making, I think I did the other month, all sorts of bits and pieces with a particular thing. If there's something you'd like me to challenge myself with and yourselves with, let me know in the comments, and I will have a go at tackling it. Like I said, next month is leftover thickers, and I'm really excited to get some of those out of my stash because they're hanging around. They really are hanging around like a bad smell. So now back onto the layout. I'm doing some journaling down the bottom here. I just felt like there was a bit of a weird gap. I was originally going to put my title down there, but then I decided not to, and so it just kind of left a weird chunk of the page not decorated, and I still felt like it was missing something down the bottom there, so I grabbed my roller stamps and I'm just doing a couple of phrases here. I love this new one. Actually, this is a new one for I think I got a couple of months ago, and it's from the crepe paper Is It Here and There, the travel collection from last year, and it's got some really sweet phrases in there, and the font's very nice too. So this page is all complete. Let me know if you have also tried monochromatic pages, if you like them, if you struggle with them, and if you've got any ideas for some other Challenge Yourself episodes. I had a lot of fun doing this one. I'm glad that I picked blue, like I said, and not a challenging color. But yeah, it's something that I'll definitely try again. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Hope you have an awesome day. Bye.